In the grandeur of the court, amid the whispers of noblemen and the rustling of tapestries, there she stood, Isolde, a vision of beauty, her golden hair cascading over her shoulders like sunlight. Tristan, noble knight and fierce warrior, was captivated, feeling his heart tighten as his gaze fell upon her. He had seen beauty before, but none that stirred him quite like this. She seemed to belong to another world, one beyond the violence and war that had come to define his life. As their eyes met, it was as if the air between them changed, becoming charged with something unspoken, ancient. A feeling that was both new and hauntingly familiar. Tristan found himself wondering what lay behind those piercing blue eyes, what dreams and desires she held close to her heart. Though they were strangers, it felt as if their souls had known each other forever. In that fleeting moment, an unbreakable connection was formed, one that neither of them could fully comprehend, nor would they be able to escape. Destiny is a cunning force. It was meant to bind her to another, to the king whom she would marry. The cup was filled with a potion that would seal her fate, binding her heart to King Mark. Yet, in a twist of fate, she found herself sharing that very cup with Tristan. She felt her heart race as their hands brushed against one another, and he too felt a warmth that went beyond the simple act of drinking. They shared the sweet, forbidden taste of a potion that neither knew would alter their lives forever. Isolde felt a strange, comforting warmth spread from her chest, filling her with a longing she could not understand. Tristan's eyes, usually so guarded, softened, and for a brief moment, she felt as if she could see into the depths of his soul. In that moment, they became bound, not by choice, but by a love as powerful as it was irrevocable. They each sensed the stirring of something ancient, something destined, yet neither spoke a word. "What is this feeling?" she wondered, glancing at him, her heart trembling in a way it had never done before. And though they knew not what magic had taken hold, the spell was cast, binding them in a love as fierce as it was forbidden. Our love was a fragile, hidden thing, nurtured under the cover of night in the stillness of the forest. As the days passed, we became like shadows, stealing away from prying eyes. There, away from the noise of the world, Tristan held me close, his touch both a comfort and a curse. His gaze, tender yet burdened, mirrored my own heart's longing. And in the sanctuary of the forest, we shared moments that belonged only to us. Tristan took her hand, his thumb brushing gently over her knuckles. "Isolde," he whispered, his voice filled with a longing that mirrored her own. "When I am with you, I am no longer myself. I am something more, something I could never be without you." "And I too am changed," she replied, her voice breaking. "I am both free and bound, forever yours, even though I know I can never truly be yours." They shared a kiss, a stolen moment, heavy with the knowledge that their love defied the very world they lived in. And yet, for those few precious moments, it was as if time stood still, as if the universe held its breath, allowing them this one sliver of happiness. But our love could not remain hidden. King Mark, noble and wise, began to sense the shadows that lingered between us, the looks that spoke of longing, the silent confessions of two hearts entwined. He watched us, his eyes sharp, seeing what we thought we had hidden. And with each passing day, I felt the walls closing in, our sanctuary slipping further away. Yet Tristan's gaze was my refuge, and in his eyes I found the strength to face a world that would never understand. Tristan felt the weight of guilt pressing down on him. As loyal as he had been to King Mark, he could not tear himself away from Isolde. He remembered the king's kindness, his trust, and it tore at him to know he had betrayed it. "I am a knight, bound by duty," he would tell himself, and yet he would find himself drawn back to her, as if a force greater than himself pulled him towards her.
In her eyes he saw the reflection of...
In a desperate attempt to preserve what little we had, we fled into the unknown, riding through mist and shadow. The world around us faded, leaving only the beating of our hearts as they pounded in unison. For a brief, fleeting time, we were free. We rode together as if the very earth beneath us trembled with the power of our love. Tristan turned to her as they rode, his voice filled with urgency. "Isolde, if this is all we have, if these moments are all we are given, I would still choose you, again and again, until my last breath." She clung to him, her heart breaking even as it soared. "Tristan, if we were stars in the night sky, we would be drawn together no matter the distance. I would find you in any lifetime." In that moment, it felt as if nothing could touch them, as if they had slipped beyond the reach of fate. But even as we rode, I knew that our sanctuary was only an illusion, a brief escape from a destiny we could not evade. He lay there, the strength I had known diminished. His once fierce gaze softened, his eyes seeking mine with a final plea. I held his hand, the hand that had once been my fortress, now slipping from my grasp. He was so close, and yet he was slipping away. His voice was barely a whisper, and yet it held all the love he had ever given me. "Isolde," he breathed, his voice filled with both sorrow and peace. "My heart has been yours from the moment I saw you. Even as I leave this world, I take you with me." With one last kiss, we sealed our fate. His life ebbed away, leaving only a fragile whisper of the love we had shared. I felt his spirit linger, as if a part of him would remain with me, a testament to a love that would never die. And as I held him, I knew that our love had transcended the boundaries of life and death, leaving a mark upon the world that would never fade. And so, they say, where we once stood, 2 trees grew, their branches entwined, their roots deep within the earth. They became a symbol, a quiet testament to the love that had transcended even death. Etched into the bark, our names remain, a reminder that love, once awakened, never truly fades. It lives on, whispered in the wind, woven into the fabric of the earth and sky. For we are Tristan and Isolde, forever bound by a love that defied time and remains eternal. And there, beneath the endless sky, where the trees stand as one, I feel him. In the rustling leaves and the warmth of the sun, he is with me still. Our love is the earth beneath us, the sky above, and as long as the trees stand, so shall we. For though our bodies are gone, our love lives on, eternal, unbreakable, a testament to all who dare to love against the odds.